Hey guys, here we are on Wednesday morning. I just want to say that we have a week of ministry this week that I'm just going to ask for you guys to pray about. Monday we had our food truck that came and we got stocked up on a bunch of food, and so we're well prepared for our food pantry that'll be tomorrow night, Thursday night, from 5 to 7 p.m., the drive-through. But we'll also have some guys who are going to be working together to pack bags tonight at 5 p.m. And so just pray for us as we interact. We're trying to take all the safety precautions we can, but we don't want to spread any germs. We want to be able to help people, but at the same time, we want to protect those as best we can. And so just keep all of us in your prayers as we do that. This morning, I want to read to you just very quickly from Psalm 61, 1 through 4. David writes, "Hear my cry, O God. Attend to my prayer. From the end of the earth I will cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the shelter of your wings." David is crying out really for God's eternal protection at this point. He's crying out to God for assurance because, quite honestly, he is, as he says, his heart is overwhelmed. I think this is a very common emotion that many of us are struggling with at this point. Some of us are overwhelmed because we feel like we've been trapped or imprisoned in our houses. Some are overwhelmed because for the first time you're having to really teach your kids and try to help them get through schooling and all that's there. There's for us, we've got 4 kids and trying to keep them from killing each other. Sometimes that's a difficult situation there. Some are busy trying to minister to others through their work or through their ministries or whatever it is. Our first responders, anybody that is considered an essential worker, still has to continue to go out and provide services at the same time worrying maybe about what they may be exposed to. There's overwhelm that comes from fear, and some of it is just plain being overwhelmed by the world itself. If you turn on the news for more than a few minutes, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And so what David says in the midst of this overwhelming feeling that he's dealing with at this point, in the midst of feeling like it's too much, is he says, "Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." What he's basically saying is, I've got to look to something outside of myself that I can grab hold of that will pull me out of this situation that I'm in right now. I've got to look to God, who will be my life preserver, if you will, to help pull me out of this situation, to pull me out of this fear, to pull me out of this slump, to pull me out of this depression, to pull me out of this pity party I'm throwing, whatever it is. I've got to look to something beyond myself that I can grab hold of that I know that has the strength and the power to help me out. And he says in verses 3 and 4, "For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy." Keep in mind, have been, meaning God has done this in the past and continues to do this even in his presence. He has been a shelter. He has been a strong tower from the enemy. It says, "I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the shelter of your wings." This idea of this provision, this covering over. It's kind of like when a little kid gets scared and runs to mommy and daddy and grabs hold of their legs and just feels their arms embrace them. They know there's protection and there's safety there. There's nothing we can do to fix our circumstances. You're going to be overwhelmed at some point. I've been overwhelmed in the midst of this. And some days and some moments, I'm overwhelmed. But knowing that you can give these things over to God and that God will always be there to help us and to protect us gives me hope that I can cry out to God. And he is the one outside of myself that can help me. I can't fix it. I can't keep these feelings from coming. But God can be there to be the comforter and peace that I need in the midst of those trials and circumstances. Guys, I love you. I'm praying for you. Pray for us as we continue to try to minister to our community. And I hope that God is blessed by all that is said and all that is done. Stay in the Word and never forget that God is what's most important.